¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Echo Wrestle Dragon, how's it going? Cosmic Seeking, how's it going? Yeah, I'm not planning on covering any of it, to be honest. I'm kind of confused by it all, and seeing some streams was a bit shocked. Like, what do you mean? I've seen a couple of streams, but oh, just some of the jokes and stuff. Yeah, well. Other streamers were dancing on her grave. She was 98, just a matter of time. That's true. Yeah, the Queen of England. There was only one queen, to my understanding. But, I mean, like I said, I don't do monarchs. Did you see mega cringy tweet from CMU professor? I don't know what that's in reference to. You're gonna have to show it to me. Or you're gonna have to send it to me. Twitter pulled it after Bezos jumped on the pushback. Can you send it to me in whispers? Because I don't have no idea what you're talking about. You're gonna have to send it to me. Oh, or I should say, sorry, Twitter pulled it. Is there like a screenshot you can send me? Maybe somebody retweeted it with a screenshot. What was the name of the island? Rihanna's home that left England's rule? I don't know. Trinidad. Okay. Today was also the day that our new Prime Minister went to the Parliament to tell us how she was going to address the major economic and social disasters. It's the big Twitter drama at the moment. Is it okay to publicly wish painful death on people? Yeah, I usually go to Twitter for having good takes. We are due to have household fuels bills go up to 400%. Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of Parliament's job to fix, right? Yeah, I don't know. I just don't agree with the idea of a monarchy. That's it. That's my main issue. It's just not as interesting to me. England has changed from 1940s. If people are still hateful, that's England's fault. How's it going, Stuka, by the way? It's been quite a minute. It's been quite the minute. That's right. Ageism, prejudice. Racism does exist in a lot of places, yes. It exists everywhere. It's been quite a while. Politics was pissing me off too much. Off touching a whole lot of grass, that's funny. Yeah, politics tends to do that. I mean, politics is all about that. The announcement was that the government would put out the financial disaster on the national credit card, on the nation's credit card, and we'll be paying for it for the next 30 years. I don't know if it's I don't know if that's like a thing, but anyways, yeah, the government is the one that needs to solve that issue. Scoopka with the 12-month sub. Here you go. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I would disagree if the people are hateful. It's because they allowed themselves to succumb to hate, or maybe the Alio with the 12 biddies, the surrounding circumstances has created an environment where that is okay. That's another possibility. How's it going, Maple Leaf Dragon? I'm finally publicly out as bi now, so that's a thing. That's pretty cool. It's different when the racism and hatefulness is baked into the laws. Yeah, that's also true. What you're talking about, what you're describing there is systemic racism. The GB pound has sunk to a record low. I don't know what the FX means, but I assume that it just means that the currency has diminished, which is true. People want to have change, and what methods also have to be chosen for societies to really change. Imagine being made king at 73. Imagine King in 2022. We have massive backlogs of people needing hospital treatment. Now that's an issue. That's an issue. That's a problem. That is a problem. That is a really big problem. That is a really, really big problem. The schools and public services are saying they will have to close down due to energy prices. Yeah, again, those are problems that are affecting people across the country, across your country. Yeah, that needs to be addressed. The monarchy has been pretty meaningless for a while now. Yeah, that's true. It's just like the concept of a monarchy. No thanks. Wait, we didn't even fix climate change in the year I was gone? Yeah, we didn't even get to that, Strupka. You went away for a year and we didn't even fix that. I am ashamed of myself. Alright, folks, we've got quite a few headlines to go through. I think we should start. I think we should kick this off. Many businesses are closing down as their business model can't work with fuel prices. Yeah, I imagine that being the case, so maybe the legislature needs to get on it and fix the fundamental problems that cause this, right? Bad policy. Bad policy needs to be worked on, reversed or taken out or redone. I guess we should start off with this story, right? This one is the we should open up with a little bit of fireworks, right? Wonder how bad Boris really effed things up? Whew. I have no idea. The fixed problems at the source? You sweet summer child? What? Actually trying to attempt to address the roots of underlying issues? What? England and Americans' politics and civic systems are being discouraged. I mean, there's many bad actors. Well, that's true. Energy companies are due to receive windfall profits of 170 billion pounds. Yeah, that's a policy issue. That's a policy problem that they need to address. I don't know what a pound is. Please translate that to real currency. Well, now it's less than $1, I think. Pound versus dollar. No, a pound is 1.15 US dollars. Money isn't real. True. Yeah, I'm not sure. You're welcome to stay here, my friend, but don't make me have to Google Translate every single message. Our government has decided to let the energy companies take the profits and place it on the national taxes. Yeah, so that seems like bad policy. That seems like conservative policy at the heart of it. All right, let's kick off things with a little bit of fireworks. Steve Bannon has been charged with money laundering, money laundering conspiracy in the We Build the Wall fundraising fraud case. Wow, surprise Pikachu face. No way. Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon was charged Thursday in New York with defrauding donors, i.e., fleecing the sheep. Gotta fleece the flock. Defrauding donors who were giving money to build the wall at the southern U.S. border. Bannon was indicted on charges including money laundering, scheming to defraud, and conspiracy in what prosecutors described as a year-long scheme. He pleaded not guilty during a brief arraignment before acting justice Juan Merchan agreed to surrender his passports as a condition of his bail. He's not going anywhere. He intends to fight these charges all the way, Bannon's attorney David Schoen told the judge. The 6-count indictment also names the group We Build the Wall Inc., which it says worked with Bannon on the scheme in 2019. Bannon was the chair of the advisory board for the group, which prosecutors say duped thousands of donors by maintaining that all the money raised would go to building the wall along the southern border and not to the people running the effort. Except, guess what? Yeah, that's a good meme. I got 22k unused points. Ukulele heavy stream incoming. I think I purposely limited that because I can't spend the entire stream playing the ukulele, or maybe I can. But yeah, we'll get to that one. Steve Bannon has always had that I just woke up from the bottom of the industrial dirty clothes hamper look. No surprise he's into money laundering. We're 2 to 3 years away from putting all this MAGA bullshit behind us. We just need to vote. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I mean, sure. You vote where you can. Oh Lord. Okay. You vote where you can. It doesn't excuse you from not participating. But yeah, I don't know. You need to be very vigilant. This is very, very, very a very sensitive time period, and these people, I think that they're not going away. They're not going away, not easily, anyways. That's right. It's more than just voting. The group's president, Brian Kolfage, who is left unnamed in this indictment, pocketed hundreds of thousands of dollars from the scheme. Nice, the filing alleges. Some of the money was routed to him by Bannon, who had money from the campaign transferred to a nonprofit group under Bannon's control, and then used that cash to pay Kolfage $140,000. The indictment alleges. Prosecutors allege that Bannon was well aware that the group was publicizing that Kolfage was telling donors that I'm taking $0 a salary, no compensation, and Bannon echoed those claims himself. Damn. They literally just took the money and run, huh? If the wall was 100% joined up, would it actually stop immigrants and drugs? No. Don't tell me you got Doomer build on voting since I've been gone. I take it. I have this position. You can't expect voting to solve everything. Voting is a voting is a tool in a toolbox, right? That's the way I see it. Voting is a tool in a toolbox, and if it is available to you, why not use it? Why not use it? Worst of all, why cede that tool to the right? We all see what happens when Republicans win elections. It's not good. It's not good. Yeah, if they can build a higher wall, we'll just make a taller ladder. Yeah, and it's not even like a matter of like the wall never really prevented illegal immigration. It didn't really do anything, right? Only really dumb people with no imagination think a wall stops migration. That's right. That's also a good point. It's not even a real wall. True. And MAGA will be around as long as there are people who believe in it. Take a look at the Seventh-day Adventists, for example. Sheesh. Also, planes exist. Yep. This is a known fact of life. Planes actually exist. This is true. Planes exist. In a statement, the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, said that Bannon acted as the architect of a multi-million-dollar scheme to defraud thousands of donors across the country, including hundreds of Manhattan residents. It is a crime to turn a profit by lying to donors, and in New York, you will be held accountable. He said. He later said at a press conference that if convicted, Bannon faces a maximum of 5 to 15 years in prison. New York Attorney General Letitia James, whose office teamed up with the district attorney in the probe, said Bannon took advantage of his donors' political views to secure millions of dollars, which he then misappropriated and lied to his donors to enrich himself and his friends. Yep, this is a classic. This is a classic con. That's right, trebuchets. Let's say Trump is like 80 and full-on fast food, so give it 5 to... Oh, God. Is it true that there are people in America, on the American side of the wall, that benefit hugely from people and drugs coming from into the country? You mean like the people that get like cheap medicine, like prescription? Yeah, like there's people that go to Mexico to get like healthcare, to get medicine all the time. The thing that comes to mind mainly is like dental care, which is incredibly expensive here because America. People go to Mexico. Dentists are huge in Mexico. That's right, because it's cheaper. Because it's affordable. There are farms here that are using undocumented labor. That is true. My MAGA grandma walks into Mexico to buy drugs but wants a wall built. It's like the irony just goes right over their head, right? Bannon was scheduled to be arraigned on the charges Thursday afternoon. In a statement to NBC, on NBC News on Tuesday, Bannon said that this is nothing more than a partisan political weaponization of the criminal justice system. Stay mad. Bannon was hit with charges related to the same scheme by federal prosecutors in August of 2020. He pleaded not guilty and then was pardoned by President Trump. Of course. NBC News reported in February of 2021 that the district attorney's office had opened an investigation into Bannon's involvement in the alleged scam a month after Trump pardoned him. Presidential pardons only apply to federal cases, meaning that New York is not prohibited from pursuing similar charges. The federal case that Bannon was one of 4 people who orchestrated a scheme to defraud hundreds of thousands of donors out of some of the more than $25 million raised through an online crowdfunding campaign to help fulfill Trump's pledge to build a border wall. Jesus. Federal authorities had said that Bannon used his nonprofit organization to receive more than $1 million of that wall building funds. Nice. So, I mean, like, knowing that this is kind of like very public, it's across, several large news outlets, people are talking about it. I wonder if these folks have any sense of introspection to take like 5 seconds and be like, wow, I was just conned. I was just conned. Maybe. Maybe I'm in a cult. But it's a joke, so give it some leeway. Wait, what? Does the wall run down the river? No. The walls can't go in the wall can't go on the river. It can't cover every square inch. It can't cover every single square inch of the southern border. It's just not possible. Logistically wise. Logistics wise? I don't know. Whatever. The point being is that it's not, I don't think it's physically possible to actually just wall off the entire southern border. I don't think that's physically possible. Yeah, you could just build a dome over it. There you go. Just boop. Just like The Simpsons. I don't really enjoy... I was going more from a biodome approach. A-Bond with the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. That is a very good point, Rai. The monarchy as an institution is still it's still there. That is very true. How's it going, Lasso? It is possible, but it would be a $4 to $6 trillion project. Really? Do you think that do you really think that we could cover the entirety of our our southern border? I thought like there was a specific reason why we can't cover every square inch of it. I don't know. I read like so many different types of articles when this whole border wall thing became like a thing, became a talking point from the beginning of 2015. Mexico wants the water. No, I just don't think that you can border off a water source, like a border off like a big river, right? Yeah, like the Rocky Mountains. There we go. Breaking news. Bannon was seen boarding a plane to Chile. Steve Bannon was seen boarding allegedly seen boarding a plane to Argentina. A border wall is massively impractical, but it's possible. Okay, gotcha. So it's possible, just a couple of $1 trillion. I mean, we waste about 800 billion a year on the military budget, so it wouldn't be exactly out of pocket to engage in this kind of nonsense. No, I'm not saying it would stop anyone, nor am I advocating for it. I was just trying to see if it was even possible. Canada's gonna build a wall to keep Americans out? True. That's true. There is a thing called ladders and planes. That's very true. For those who have endured the crimes of this now dead queen, I think we have a right to be happy about it and party. I mean, like, I think I think I'm just kind of like in Rye's position. Like, basically, I mean, she passed away surrounded by family at the age of 96. Yeah. This seems like a perfect time for a tune. Okay. I mean, you did request a rift on a ukulele. I'm just gonna have to go find it. The Prime Minister of England are not innocent either. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Blair should be in jail. True. For Iraq, true. Among other things. I mean, like, name me a head of state or president or name me a president or a head of state that is clean. Does that make sense? And with that, I'll take my indigenous house down the road and my ball too. Have a great stream. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. The queen didn't actually die. She just moved to working in one of the shadow government. True. Yeah, the UK's QAnon. There you go. I'm gonna go grab my ukulele. Hold on, folks. That pun is so awfully ham-fisted, it sort of works. I mean... We tried. A for effort. Queen Anon. There you go. There are plenty of corrupt leaders and dishonest leaders of countries. Very few leaders have clean hands. Yep. Well, that's my argument. I mean, like... If you're at the head of an empire for decades, yeah... Okay, let's try this. Not much of an empire. Britain lost its empire just at the Edwardian era. I don't know. I think Britain had a significant standing across the planet regardless. After that, it was just a false sense of entitlement. Alright, so we're gonna make this up as we go, yeah? Hmm. Okay, that sounds like something, doesn't it? After WW2, the real empire belonged to the US. I mean, pretty much, yeah. I think I got my money's worth, thank you. Okay. I like pie, how's it going? I mean, it was free, but appreciated. There we go. Puerto Rico is suffering, true? It's true. Puerto Rico is suffering because, well, I think that one, I think that one's our fault, yeah. Okay, I think that's a more structured riff, I think. I think that one's a little bit more structured. Does Congress care about Puerto Rico? No. No. It's better. Yeah, there we go. I just need to throw up some chords and then play through them. Yeah, history is a huge mess, but it's not just about like it's not about getting over it. It's about understanding what happened and how we can move forward and make sure bad things don't happen. Our job as human beings, I think, it's always to move in the direction to do the most amount of good for the most amount of people, right? And history is a huge mess. History is very dark. Um, but we can learn from it, I hope, and make things better. Understand where things are now are a result of what happened. And I think it behooves us to always strive to kind of take that into consideration. Yeah, history is to be learned from, to study it, to understand. Is that egalitarianism? No. Egalitarianism is a completely different belief or politics. Egalitarianism is when you want to. It's the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities. That is separate from what I'm talking about. Even though I do believe that everybody everybody is human and everybody um, deserves equal rights because we're all human, right? There's no like that's just the way I think. So I guess that makes me egalitarian. But what I was describing is not egalitarianism. So it's not just about learning history, understanding that it's a mess, or understanding that there has been dark, chapters in history. It's more, and then not just to say get over it. It's more like, yeah, this happened, so we must remember and not do that again. We seem to keep repeating the same mistakes. See how half this country treated COVID. Well, yeah, a good majority of it. It's like we understand these things, but we can't just get over it because we keep making the same mistakes. So that's the issue here. It's a school of thought within political philosophy that builds on the concept of social equality, prioritizing it for all people. Egalitarian doctrines are generally characterized by the idea that all humans are equal fundamental worth and moral status. True. Egalitarianism is the doctrine that all citizens of a state should be accorded to exactly equal rights. Yes, if you're going to have a state, that I think that is kind of like a necessary component. That is a necessary component if you are going to have a state. Are you a utilitarian? I have utilitarian tendencies. Yes, I have aspects of utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is the doctrine that all actions are right if they are useful or benefit to the majority. You do the most amount of good for the most amount of people. It's a doctrine that an action is right insofar as it promotes happiness, and the greatest happiness of the greatest number of people should be the guiding principle of conduct. Yeah, the most amount of good for the most amount of people. That is a utilitarian concept. So yes, I do subscribe to some utilitarian ideas, or I subscribe to some to tenets of utilitarianism. Yes. Easy there, Thanos. I'm not Sam Cedar. Do I look like Sam Cedar to you? Making people happy? Yeah, that'll work. I try. Oh, you got that? Of course I got that reference. Of course. Of course I got that reference. Alio with the 8 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Michael R. Hassler, how's it going? Cracks me up till this day once in a while. Yeah. Howdy, howdy. All right. We need to finish this. Steve Bannon, fraud, con man. Let's go. 2 of Bannon's co-defendants in the federal case, Kolfage and Andrew Badolato, I don't know, pleaded guilty in April and are scheduled to be sentenced in December. A trial for the 3rd co-defendant, Timothy Shea, ended in a mistrial when the jury deadlocked and couldn't reach a verdict. Shea is scheduled to be retried in October. Bannon is also awaiting sentencing after being convicted of the misdemeanor contempt of Congress charge for snubbing subpoenas from the White House committee investigating the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. He faces up to a year in jail and $100,000 in fines. Bannon's case is not the first brought by the New York District Attorney's Office involving the former president's allies. Last June, the office charged the Trump Organization and then its chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, with tax fraud and other charges in what they described as a sweeping 15-year scheme to compensate top executives off the books and help them avoid paying taxes. Nice. Surprise Pikachu face. Conman has organization that does cons and fraud. Nice. Weisselberg, who pleaded guilty, is expected to testify against the company when the case goes to trial in October. The company pleaded not guilty, and Trump has not been charged in the case. He has, however, insisted that the investigation is a part of a political witch hunt against him and accused Bragg, who is black, of being racist for pursuing the case. What? Okay. Yeah. Okay, buddy. Grifters gotta grift. That's true. Every accusation is a confession. So, the case was initially brought by Bragg's predecessor, Cyrus Vance. Vance has also brought a criminal case in 2019 against Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, who for allegedly falsifying business records to obtain millions of dollars in residential mortgage loans. The case was later dismissed on double jeopardy grounds, as he has already been tried and convicted for related crimes uncovered by former special counsel Robert Mueller. Manafort's case likely won't help Bannon. The state passed a law in 2019 that allowed its prosecutors to pursue investigations into any recipient of a presidential pardon who served in the president's administration, worked directly or indirectly to advance a presidential campaign or transition, or worked at a nonprofit for business controlled by a president and whose alleged criminal activity took place in New York. Yeah, this guy's going to jail. Bannon is going to jail, that's for sure. Nog Wrangler, how's it going? Welcome. At the very minimum, the contempt of Congress charges will get him at most a year in jail and $100,000 in fines. Wouldn't it be a given since Bannon took a pardon from Trump? Pardon means admission of guilt. Yeah, basically. I mean, why else would you need a pardon, right? It doesn't check out. If you didn't do the thing, why would you need to be pardoned from doing the thing? Right? It's kind of like when a child goes up to their mom and it's like, look, if I do the dishes for a week, you know, can we just like skim over the my progress report? Can we just skim over the report cards, you know? Reports of shooting at an IRS building in Memphis. What? Holy yikes. A gunman who live streamed himself driving around Memphis, shooting at people, killing 4 and wounded 3, and other seemingly random attacks. Wait, no, this isn't it. Oh, this is another mass shooting. Jesus. The fact that... Okay, hold on. Okay, so this was another mass shooting. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, so apparently there are reports of potential. There's an alleged active shooter situation in the IRS building in Memphis. According to Fox 13, which I imagine is a local news, the IRS building has been reportedly evacuated. So at the very least, we know that there was enough of a emergency situation where this building had to be evacuated. Mourning and anger enveloped the city as authorities fought him over for the gunman's day-long live stream shooting spree that left 4 people dead. Yeah, and here's another one over here. Yep, just another day. Just another day in America. If this is true, I'm going to bet if they can confirm that there was an actual, like, active shooter, I'm willing to bet that this person that this is just another result of stochastic terrorism. I mean, think about it. What's been the rhetoric that has been making the rounds on the right wing about how there's 87,000 new armed IRS agents, right? How constantly they have been talking about the IRS, especially after the announcement of the Inflation Reduction Act or whatever. I mean, the rhetoric from the conservative side regarding this has been turned up to 11, and the same thing with the whole, like, FBI raid. It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me if this just ended up being another domino effect of stochastic terrorism. That's right. Armed IRS agents are coming to take your guns. That's right. Yeah, I think it's a possibility, Cosmic Seeking. I think it's a possibility. I'm sure that we're going to know more information. I'm sure that we're going to know more information coming soon. But it wouldn't be out of pocket given what's being said. Yeah, when isn't the rhetoric turned up to 11? That's true. Armed IRS agents are coming to force men to wear skirts. True. That's what they're actually afraid of. That's what they're actually afraid of. The IRS agents are going to perform forced bottom surgery on everyone. I think that one's a bit much. Armed IRS agents are coming to read my two dads over and over again. True. Yep. That's the exact point. That's the exact reasoning as to why this administration needs to hire 87,000 IRS agents. Yeah, there you go. Armed IRS agents are coming to inject CRT directly into your veins. It's going to be an IV system. Okay? Yeah, just like the guy with the nail gun. Yeah, who ended up being in a shootout. Who ended up being in a shootout with the FBI after that, after the fact. Yes. So, yeah, after all that rhetoric, yeah, no surprise that somebody would actually go to a FBI building and attempt to have a shootout with them. All right, let's take a look at this one. This one's important, folks. Michigan GOP leaders encourage rule breaking at poll worker training station. Remember how we were talking about some of the plans that the GOP has in their next plan, I guess in their next phase of attempting to subvert the democratic norms, whatever semblance of democratic norms that we have. Some of which involved getting poll workers, creating networks between poll workers and lawyers, launching campaigns for Secretary of State positions in the Board of Elections, things like this, things that have significant sway in the election process. This is why I vote by mail. Yep. This is also why Republicans don't want vote by mail. This is exactly why I had my ballot over to my local armed IRS agent. Yeah. So that's gonna be the new procedure, is to make sure that your vote is counted. Okay. Make sure that you hand it to your nearest armed IRS agent. That is correct. The evening before Michigan State primary, mind you, this is just a primary, okay? How paranoid do you have to be? Or like, how divorced from reality do you have to be that in your own party's primary, you're having this kind of mentality? No idea what that means, but yeah, I can't sit here and start doing Google Translate on every message. The evening before Michigan State primary, the Wayne GOP leaders held a Zoom training session for poll workers and partisan observers, warning them about bad stuff happening during the election and encouraging them to ignore local election rules, barring cell phones and pens from polling places and vote counting centers. Sheesh. Yeah, they can audit my taxes and they can count my vote. Oh, Lord. Gratefulness. Okay. None of the constraints that they're putting on this are legal, said former State Senator Patrick Colbeck. Told trainees this is what they're telling poll workers. I mean, who's to say that this isn't the exact operation that they're going to use in the general elections? This is what they're telling their poll workers for like primaries. As far as cell phones, I would say maybe just hide it or something. Jesus Christ. Maybe hide a small pad and a small pen or something like that because you need to take accurate notes. Some participants raised concerns about being tossed out if they broke the rules, which he said that's why you gotta do it secretly. Ah, yes, thank you, mastermind Patrick Colbeck. What a mastermind. While volunteer partisan observers have always been trained by political parties and nonprofit groups in Michigan, the Wayne County GOP had also invited poll workers, people hired and paid by the local clerk's office, which, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's okay. That sounds like, to me, a massive conflict of interest. They are in charge of running the election, and their responsibilities can include checking voter IDs, counting ballots. Oh man. Okay. Sure. This is fine. Engage in, required to engage. Sorry. Voter IDs, counting ballots, and even securing voting equipment at the end of the day. Poll workers are required to engage in nonpartisan training overseen by the local clerk and are only identified as Republicans for the purpose of making sure there's equal representation of both major parties working the election, according to the Michigan Bureau of Elections. Wayne County is Detroit, by the way. Gotcha. During the Wayne County training call obtained by CNN, the presumption that Democrats cheat. Okay. Source. Justifies Republican rule breaking permeated the discussion. So, like, your solution to this perceived rule breaking is to rule break? Okay. That makes sense. It offers a snapshot of one of the ways to Trump-backing MAGA-minded conspiracy theorists are intervening in the election process across the country. Yeah, like, this is wild to me that, like, the people who are so triggered about the statement that Joe Biden made that, like, MAGA Republicans are literally a threat to democracy, how, like, they freaking screeched, are still screeching till this point about this. And here we are having, like, these people essentially attempt to put themselves in positions where they could influence the election, continuing to disturb the electoral process, the democratic process, violating the rules. Yeah, we must catch the Dems breaking the rules, but to do that, we also have to break the rules. Yes, less Republicans voting is not exactly a bad idea, but yeah. Often encouraging, MAGA-minded conspiracy theorists intervening in the election process across the country, sometimes encouraging poll workers or volunteer observers to violate election rules in hopes of finding evidence that Democrats might be doing the same. Oh man, if this isn't like the classic projection, every single freaking accusation is a confession, right? Every single accusation ends up being a confession. It's an approach election experts fear that could spur chaos and conflict in November's midterm election in 2024 and in 2024. There is no exception to following the laws. There is no two wrongs make a right, said Wendy Weiser, a vice president at the Brennan Center for Justice, which tracks potential insider threats to the election process. Weiser said that the center is seeing a spread in efforts by election deniers to infiltrate and manipulate the voting and vote counting process. If poll workers are not committed to following the law, to follow the directions of election officials, to protect the integrity of the election process, they can do serious harm. Yeah, and that's the idea, really. That's the idea. Not only did Trump ruin the country, he ruined civics too. Well, I think that was messed up from a long time ago. Like its counterparts in federal concerns mounting over partisan election training. Like its counterparts in fellow battleground states, Arizona and Pennsylvania, Michigan's Republican Party has conspiracy believers pushing for influence over the election process at all levels. From candidates for statewide office down to poll workers and observers. As CNN previously reported, that's partly due to a strategy by Trump allies of ceaselessly recruiting conspiracy-minded MAGA volunteers for rank-and-file party positions. Earlier this year, unsuccessful gubernatorial candidate Ryan Kelly came on Michigan poll workers to unplug election equipment. If you see something you don't like happening in June, Kelly was charged with trespassing. Wait, what? Hold on. Earlier this year, unsuccessful gubernatorial candidate Ryan Kelly called on Michigan poll workers to unplug election equipment. Okay, I see. So here we have a candidate for the GOP gubernatorial race, or gubernatorial candidacy, saying to poll workers that if you don't see anything you like, then just unplug the equipment, as if that's gonna do anything. In June, Kelly was charged with trespassing and other crimes in connection with January 6th. Of course, he was there at the insurrection. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges. The Michigan GOP group for Election Integrity Force, which Kolbeck helped start, pushes baseless claims about the 2020 election that feed suspicions about the fairness of upcoming elections. Yeah, which is the whole point, right? The whole point is to rock the faith of the electoral system. That's it. That's the point. Five out of the 6 GOP candidates for governor in Michigan were disqualified for forged signatures. Yep, that's true. We went over that story, I think. I'm pretty sure I remember reading it. In the July session, as first reported by Politico, members of the group coached poll workers and observers to call 911 and bring law enforcement into election-related complaints. Oh man, Jesus Christ, can you imagine? Of course, the purpose is to cause chaos. Imagine, like, if a bunch of these people across the country managed to get positions as poll workers and observers, and they're out here freaking calling 911. The mounting efforts to influence poll workers have prompted concerns over election disruptions, forcing the state to establish a code of conduct for those individuals. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Poll workers who don't adhere to these rules will be removed by the local clerk if they violate the law or in any way interfere with the administration of fair and secure elections. The GOP has made a concerted effort to put election deniers in positions where they can gum up the work afterwards if they don't win, which is the point. So hand count constantly all of the votes. Yeah, but that's not feasible, right? And if Republicans don't want it, how many audits per state? 12? 3 years to confirm the votes? Yeah, well, yeah, but the idea is to sow doubt in our electoral process. That's the idea. They're not interested if the results are accurate or not. It doesn't matter. The point is to create chaos and to sow doubt in the electoral process. Hey, James Snapper, how's it going? Here's the threat I promised everyone last night. There needs to be a zero tolerance policy for anyone who encourages poll workers to violate policies and procedures and create chaos. Yeah, this is the exact article we're going over. The people who toil in the election trenches are generally an unflappable group, and it takes a lot to face them. The CNN article turned our normally mild-mannered ballot fairy in residence at election... What? What is this? Oh, that's her. Okay. Into a seething voting Valkyrie. What? Okay. Even during the best of times, poll worker recruitment and training requires significant effort, personnel, and preparation. There's no way to determine which recruits will become election superstars and which ones will be the reason the election office makes the 6 p.m. news. Even if prospect poll workers does well in training, it's not a real-life situation, and as all election professionals know, literally anything can happen and does happen on election day. Fortunately, the vast majority of America's poll workers rise to the occasion and keep elections running with a smile on their faces and take good care of the voters who they trust with their ballot. This threat is not about the poll workers who take their duties seriously. This is about the ones who are recruited and trained to create chaos and provide a pretext to jeopardize the process. Encouraging improper or illegal behavior from poll workers is something that should send a chill down the spine of anyone concerned with the integrity of elections. True. 100%. These are the same people that blame teachers when their kids fail a class. True. Republicans' goal is to get rid of elections entirely, and they want to be able to just appoint all offices. Yeah, realistically, they're fundamentally opposed to democracy. Yes, that is very true. The last thing voters need is another reason to mistrust the election process. Right, but there shouldn't be mistrust. There shouldn't be a mistrust in the election or electoral systems unless there's evidence to have this mistrust, right? Otherwise, you're just creating this fantasy world in your head, right? If there is evidence that comes out that there was massive shenanigans in X, Y, or Z election, then yeah, I could understand why people might be skeptical. But if there are no reasons to be skeptical, why are you skeptical? Where is this coming from? It's not based in reality. That's what I'm saying. Accountability for one's action is what separates those conducting elections from those observing the process. Poll workers are responsible for the security of the election equipment, ballots, and to uphold the law of their state. They swear an oath attesting to this. While most poll workers are affiliated with the party, that affiliation has to be left at the door in favor of the right of eligible voters to cast a ballot privately and independently. Voters have to come first. Any mistake or violation of the law and polling place procedure can potentially cost a voter their vote. That should never be waived away or ignored to avoid a scene. In training, the rules and expectations need to be conveyed in no uncertain terms. While nobody wants to terrify new coworkers, they really do need to clearly understand what they do and how to report problems. Do not outsource that part. Poll watchers and candidates can't be intermixed with poll workers. Right. That's a huge no-no. Just basic operational security. Observers aren't accountable to voters, poll workers are. As much as election officials wish they didn't need to consider this possibility, perhaps there does need to be a disciplinary procedure system in place to gently correct or firmly reinforce the consequences for violations. A shortage of qualified poll workers shouldn't be used as an excuse for enabling bad behavior. A good leader knows when they're responsible for setting the example of what is and is not acceptable. Election integrity and security rest on the weary shoulders of the workers who spend 14 hours a day in the service of American democracy. They deserve to be properly trained and given the chance to make elections the best government interaction a voter has all year. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And here this linked the article that we're going over here. I think it was a really valuable take because often workers on the ground are overshadowed in the work that they do. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, especially here in like the poll workers who essentially run elections. Yeah, that's incredibly important. Gentle Artist, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. The training sessions are providing a thinly veiled read between the lines instructions that essentially show people how to break the law without expressly telling them to break the law. Jesus Christ. This should be illegal. In most cases, said Timmer. Thoughts on the legacy of the late Mikhail Gorbachev? I don't know. I don't know. I have no context to which I have the time to even begin to formulate a thought on Mikhail Gorbachev. The training sessions, oh yeah, okay. In most cases, said Timmer, an advisor to the Lincoln Project, a political action committee founded in 2019 by Republicans and former Republicans opposed to Trump. Both Costantino and Kolbeck, the trainers of the Wayne County Call, have actively promoted 2020 election conspiracies that amount to make-believe. In the lead-up of the 2020 election, Kolbeck posted on Facebook that Democrats were conspiring to commit electoral fraud and manipulating the vote tallies transmitted from county election boards to the state board of canvassers. While serving as a poll challenger at a counting center in Detroit, Kolbeck claimed that he saw vote tabulation machines connected to the internet. Okay. He submitted an affidavit to that effect for a lawsuit that Costantino filed a week after the election, seeking to stop the results from being certified and requesting an audit. Costantino's lawsuit, backed by Trump, drew national attention to her claims of election fraud, but a state circuit judge dismissed the suit, stating no evidence supports Mr. Kolbeck's position. Noting Kolbeck's Facebook post, Judge Timothy Kenny said that his predilection to believe fraud was occurring undermines his credibility as a witness, before concluding that Costantino's interpretation of events was incorrect and not credible. Jesus. Nice. Constantino filed an appeal, which was denied. Colbeck's continuing claims that machines hooked up to the internet flipped votes in 2020 led Dominion voting systems to demand a retraction from him last year, stating that his claims are not just false but have been repeatedly debunked by bipartisan election officials, actual election security experts, judges, and numerous Trump administration officials and allies. Colbeck has also tried to get copies of election files and Dominion software, zeroing in on Canton Township, a part of his former state Senate district. Canton Township Clerk Mike Segrist, a Democrat, wrote in August memo to the town's Board of Trustees that his office denied those parts to Colbeck's public record request because releasing the files would violate our contracts with Dominion and jeopardize future elections. Colbeck did not respond to CNN's request for comment. Wasn't that the case where the machines literally had no network interface hardware? Not sure, but these people are not living in any realm close to reality. So it wouldn't be surprising. I mean, these machines are not connected to the internet or shouldn't be in any way, shape, or form, to my understanding. At the Wayne County election training session last month, Constantino and Colbeck said they were tracking scores of Democrats who Colbeck said they were trying to masquerade as Republicans while trying to sign up for work elections. This is going to be such a freaking mess because I can already see it in not only in this midterm, but pretty much any election going forward now. We're just going to have to essentially have eyes open because these people are going to continue to be a thorn on the side of anyone who wants free and fair elections, a thorn on the side of anyone who respects democratic norms, and it's just frustrating. These people need to be excised from politics essentially, because this is just too far. This is incredibly damaging. That every single freaking election, even in their own primaries, Jesus Christ, even in their own primaries, we're having people like Laura Loomer still screeching about how she actually won and that somehow the Republican ran primary is it's just stunning is the only word I can think of right now. Swoopling GTR rating with a party of 3. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Howdy. Welcome everybody. It is indeed a swoop raid. How's it going, everybody? Folks, Prodling, thank you for the follow. Folks, if you don't know who I am a Difficult Truth. We do the news, we do the politics Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you hit the follow button, like a few of you have already, you get 5 free emotes. Look at that. 5 free emotes, one of them being Bakita the cat. So you really can't say no to that, right? I appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. Stick around. Hit the profile thingy. Do the thing. Stick around. And thank you so much for bringing your wonderful community. Swoopling, appreciate that. Enjoy the show, everybody. Hang tight. There we go. That's it. Right there. Bakita the cat. And for the folks who haven't, please consider heading on over to twitch.tv/swooplingGTR. Go give them a follow. Go show some support. Appreciate the raid. Colbeck told participants we're going to have to keep our heads on a swivel and just start documenting irregularities. The two also attacked some election officials by name, including Segrist, the Canton Township clerk, whom Constantino called the worst clerk I think I've ever dealt with. She added, what we have to do is knock him down as soon as possible before he works his way up in the Democratic Party. Jesus. He'll get his due. said Kolbeck, claiming improprieties in how Segrist handled his records request. Kolbeck called on his trainees to try to prove his repeatedly debunked theory about voting machines and tabulators being connected to the internet by checking screens whenever possible for connectivity symbols. Oh, man. No problem. Towards the end of the Zoom call, Constantino told his trainees that, so you're all really undercover agents. Congratulations. This is undercover training. Yeah, this is like beyond wild. This is beyond wild. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable and like borderline, in my opinion. This shouldn't be allowed. This should be illegal. Lindell and Rudy and all the right-wing machines will challenge and yell unfair and our corrupt systems and drive normal people away. No, like that's not even the point. That's not even the point. It's the fact that like they want to make sure that people have a mistrust in the whatever veneer of democratic processes that we do have, whatever thin veneer of democratic processes that we have. They want to make sure that that's completely and utterly done with. They're not in favor of elections. They don't care. They don't want free and fair elections. They just want power. That's it. They want power and they want to be the ones to wield it. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean they're not they don't care about that. They're not interested. They're not interested. In their minds it would be nice if like elections just went their way and nobody talked about it. That's it. This right here is like that should be illegal. How is it that like operatives from a political party is literally encouraging poll workers who are the people that essentially run elections to do this? I mean, like there are crimes. It's already illegal. What they're doing is a felony. Like this guy right here. If that's the case, then where's the investigations? Because that's not right. If this is like, so who is that famous serial killer? I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to a lot of serial killers. Was it Jeffrey Dahmer? Who was it? Jeffrey Dahmer who actually never killed anybody. He just like had a cult about him. Like he had a cult going around him, and like they're the ones who did it. No, I might be getting I might be wrong, Simulacra. I might be wrong then. I don't know. Can somebody all right, not Jim Jones. Somebody remind me who Charles Manson. Thank you. Okay. There we go. That's it. Okay, thank you. That's it. Charles Manson. So like yes, Charles Manson. Exactly. Okay, we're on the money now. So like this so then we shouldn't charge Charles Manson for murder, right? Like okay. It is a felony to tell somebody to commit election fraud. Oh, okay. So I see. They're getting away with it because they're not actually directly telling them. I see. They're not directly telling them. They're kind of like saying things. They're doing amazing levels, Olympic levels of mental gymnastics. Of playing with words, essentially. That's what I'm trying to say. They're doing an amazing dance with words to essentially get these people to potentially commit crimes, essentially. Because they even admit that this is not good. They admit that this is not within the rules. They're just saying, don't get caught. But also, like, we're not telling you to break the law. We're just saying that you should probably be very vigilant. And, like, actually, we understand that these rules are rules and we understand that these are laws. But, like, we don't acknowledge them, so you can just kind of disregard those laws and rules so that you can document the other side breaking the laws and rules. This is just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Charles Manson. That's right. Unfreaking believable. Orwell would love the nerve of the Republican Party. Yeah, Orwell's Inksock Party is literally the Republican Party now. That's it. That's them. This is like the equivalent of, like, I guess, stochastic election fraud. There we go. Instead of stochastic terrorism, this is stochastic election fraud. Oh man, this is wild. Approached by CNN at the Michigan Republican State Convention, Constantinos said comparing the poll workers to spies was just her way. Oh, I see. Oh, hey, listen, folks, it's okay. It's okay because she was just joking. All right, it's just we're just trying to do some making it fun and interesting, right, guys? Yeah, okay. Was just her way of framing the training session to make it more fun and interesting, with Michigan's open primary serving as a kind of dry run for the election cycle ahead. Oh, man. Yikes. At the time he was writing in 1984, there was several wonderful examples of his genre which he could draw inspiration. Some of these include his mentor, Aldous Huxley's A Brave New World, published in 1932, which, by the way, made it to one of the Florida counties banned book lists. Nice. Nice. Yevgeny Samayev's we published in 1924, Jack London's The Iron Heel. The latter is considered to be the earliest example of this genre, published in 1908. Yeah, this is all the prequel to the Hunger Games becoming real. Yep. This is the dangers of the turnout myth, which a small section of academics have been talking about for a while. You start with the lies about how certain turnouts impact electoral outcomes, and it grows arms and legs, and it manifests in stuff like this. You have to challenge myths at the source before they become problems. Nobody wants to believe electoral outcomes when they don't fit what they picked, because myth is more comforting than reality. I agree with that statement. A lot of people like that comfort because sometimes the truth is a little difficult.
Please clap.
Trump is President Snow. True. Please clap. This channel is myth busting. Well, we do some. We dabble. We dabble in the busting of myths. I just said, instead of causing a bunch of scenes and things like that, just write it down, just be spies and try to, disrupt the electoral process. She also said she considered the regulations outlined in clerk-led trainings and that barred cell phones and pens to be unconstitutional. Right. So I acknowledge that these rules and these laws are put in place. But I just don't care. I just don't care. I'm going to tell the people, or I'm going to encourage the people who run our elections to ignore them. It should not be illegal, she told CNN, adding, with respect to election fraud claims, if they're going to call us out and say prove it, we have to be able to prove it. Yeah, but that doesn't involve you encouraging election poll workers to break the rules. Okay, if there is a significant um reason to suspect that there's some kind of shenanigans, then you can investigate, and you should investigate. But you have to have some type of like waypoint to start this investigation. You can't just say this election is fraud and then and so it is. Like that's just not how it works. CNN is fake news. Thanks. Wonderful. While poll challengers are partisan observers, empowered by a political party to witness the election and bring up legal concerns in real time as they witness them, right, which is what the point of these poll challengers are. Not poll workers, that's what the poll challengers are for. Poll workers are supposed to be neutral election officials who assist voters and make our democracy function. Most of the people who come to his office to apply to be poll workers are suspicious about elections, he said, but being part of the process helps resolve their concern. This is why Segrist remains optimistic that election workers will do the right thing. Okay, that seems a bit naive. That seems a bit naive. We'll just invite the wolves for dinner. That is naive thinking. People who are deluded into this conspiracy theory that there's some like grand scheme that overturned the election in 2020 should not be anywhere near that anywhere near equipment or be allowed to be poll workers. I'm sorry. Like you can't justify that risk, in my opinion. To think that like, oh yeah, if they actually see how everything works and they realize that actually nothing's going on, then they'll just believe us. Like no, that's not how these people work. These people have bought hook, line, and sinker into this conspiracy theory and will do whatever it takes to make it come true. That's the problem here. Those same individuals who come in as critics, as almost critics of the process, become the process's most staunch and ardent supporters. I don't trust that. The rules about phones and pen and paper aren't uncommon, said Jennifer Morrow, the co-founder of the Election Group, a nonprofit led by former election officials that focus on protecting the election process. Anytime we had anybody working around the ballots, we'd ask them not to have a pen to eliminate any perception that anybody might mark a ballot. Trainees on the call, some of who went in as poll workers in Michigan's primary, seemed in tune with the premise and advice from Constantino and Kolbeck. One participant, Martin Stalag, attended a rally last year outside the Michigan Capitol with a sign hanging around his neck that read, in part, "This election was stolen, and we will support Joe Biden as our president if you can convince us he won legally." Zelag told CNN he worked in the primary feeding ballots in a tabulation machine and that everything did happen in an orderly fashion. Zelag, who said he trusts and admires Kolbeck, doesn't believe that Biden was a legitimate winner of the 2020 presidential election. Like I said, what? He was working in the actual system, tabulating the votes and feeding ballots or whatever, admitted that everything happened in an orderly fashion as it normally does, and then still he does not believe that the election was legitimate. So yeah, there's no convincing these people. There's no convincing these people. Trump is not your president? Thank you. Good to know. Sad. What a sad state of events, huh? Trump is going to get executed for treason after he gets convicted. If you know that this is a left-leaning channel, why do you think that spamming emotes and just saying things for the sake of saying things, do you think that like makes sense, or you're going to convince anybody? I'm just bored. You know, there's more to life than just spamming stuff on chat. You know that, right? I wanted to check out the politics section on Twitch. It's not as bad as I thought. Well, sometimes it just depends. Yeah, talk about not living in reality. Well, here we are. Larry Lutke was among the trainees who had concerns about bringing pens and paper on the Zoom call, though he told CNN that he didn't recall bringing that up. He said that he wouldn't say Democrats stole the 2020 election, but that there's fraud in every election. Right, but that's like but that's a broad general statement, because yeah, no shit, there's like always like a 0.0001% of like ballots that were not correct or ballots that were fraudulent, right? Like that happens in every election. But this like idea that there's some like massive conspiracy to making attorneys get attorneys, true. This massive conspiracy that there's a coordinated effort to change the results of the election. Like the person is claiming here that the machines were flipping votes without a single iota of evidence. I mean, like that is way different from just saying like this is kind of a milquetoast statement. Yeah, no shit, there's fraud in every election, but like you gotta freaking contextualize that. It's like, yeah, there's fraud in every election to the tune of 0.0001 whatever. Here, average, we can even look at it. Average fraud in US election. Here we go. An analysis of just to give you like a little peek. An analysis of the mail-in ballots find just 0.0025% of possible fraud. Holy yikes. Can you imagine? It is incredibly tiny. Certainly not enough to change the results of the election. Lutke was a poll worker in Michigan. Primary noted that everything seemed to work out. I got no real complaints. Wow. Jerry Herman, a supporter of Kobach's unsuccessful 2018 campaign for governor of Michigan, also took part in that session. Herman serves as the co-chair of the Washtenaw County Republican Party's Election Integrity Committee, which is responsible for restoring credibility to Michigan's badly broken election system, which the people who work here have already said that it's fine. So that's a good meme. When contacted by CNN, Herman declined to comment on the training session. Also on the call was Mark Ashley Price, who told CNN he did not work in the primary because he's a candidate. Price serves on the board of Highland Park School District and is the Republican nominee for Wayne County Executive. Earlier this year, in a Facebook post, Price wrote that former President Trump was robbed of the election with cheating. More recently, in a Facebook post, Price wrote that he was happily part of the MAGA movement. If elected under county ordinances, Price would have a broad range of powers where he can supervise, direct, and control functions of all departments of the county except those headed by elected officials. Jesus Christ. Similar training efforts predicated on the 2020 election conspiracies have been mounted by an array of national and state level groups with innocuous names such as Election Integrity Network, True the Vote. Wait. Wasn't that the one we were just looking at? Clean Election USA and others, along with the Republican National Committee. True the Vote, which has trained poll observers in various states, was primary source for the thoroughly debunked film 2000 Mules, claiming that election fraud cost Trump the 2020 election. Clean Election USA is organizing a multi-state effort to have observers watch drop boxes this fall to deter suppressed supposed vote fraud. The Election Integrity Network is a group organized by Cleta Mitchell, an attorney and Trump ally who had been among the most active promoters of election conspiracies. They have conducted events in Michigan and at least 7 other states. Yeah, this is yikes. In Canada, we use good old-fashioned pen and paper ballots, but we also have a few thousand potential voters per precinct too. Sure, there are mistakes, and sure, there can be fraud, but it's tracked down and dealt with, usually swiftly. It comes from having a federal Department of Elections whose sole purpose is to secure and administer elections for the whole country. Yeah. Agreed. We'll be able to make sure there's another set of eyes going on, watching the ballots and watching the voting and watching the process, know what's going on in the election offices. Morale, the election group nonprofit, said her organization sent a contractor to an election training in Pennsylvania led by the Election Integrity Network. The Wayne County training sounds like the same sort of playbook. We're dealing with a unique and volatile situation with a group of people operating on their own outside of the statutory requirements and procedures. It creates a recipe for at best tense situations and at worst, escalating to violent confrontation. They don't need to see something that's an actual problem. They could record or take notes of something they don't think looks right. Whether it is or isn't may not matter. Exactly. These people have deluded themselves to buy this entire conspiracy theory, hook, line, and sinker. So, like, the reality is they don't need necessarily to find real evidence. They will just believe it. Or they will just find anything that they can twist in their mind to make it so. To make that conspiracy theory come to life. We're dealing with a unique, they don't need to see something that's an actual problem. They could record or take notes of something that they think it doesn't look right. Whether it is or it isn't may not matter. Just having a loud enough megaphone to say X happened can create distrust, which is the whole point. And fueling distrust in the election process is the ultimate goal. Said Timmer, the former Michigan GOP executive director. Their plan is to be a wrench in the gears of democracy, he said of the Republican-led effort. That's their motive, whatever lipstick or qualifying words they put it on this pig, it's what they intend to do, to cause chaos as the 2022 election unfolds and a dress rehearsal for the even bigger election in 2024. Yeah, I think that this is a sound train of thought. To think like that these people are going to stop, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, so we're gonna do this one here. Um, Shoot, just one ocean is absorbing nearly all the excess heat, and the effects may be profound. Over the last 50 years, the oceans have been working in overdrive to slow global warming, absorbing about 40% of our dioxide emissions and over 90% of excess heat trapped in the atmosphere. But as our research published today in Nature Communications has found, some oceans work harder than others. We used a computational global ocean circulation model to examine exactly how ocean warming has been played out in the last 50 years. And we found that the Southern Ocean has dominated the global absorption of heat. In fact, the Southern Ocean heat uptake accounts for almost all the planet's oceans warming, and thereby controlling the rate of climate change. The Southern Ocean warming and its associated impacts are effectively irreversible on human timescale because it takes millennia for heat trapped deep into the ocean to be released back into the atmosphere. This means changes happening now will be felt for generations to come. And hold on, just take that second. Just take a second to absorb that. It takes millennia for heat trapped in the ocean to be released back in the atmosphere, effectively being irreversible in our time. That's amazing. Holy yikes. This means that changes happening now will be felt for generations to come, and those changes are only set to get worse unless we stop carbon dioxide emissions and achieve net zero. Or real zero, I guess, would be the word. It's important yet difficult to measure ocean heating. Ocean warming buffers the worst impacts of climate change, but it's not without cost. Sea levels are rising because heat causes water to expand and ice to melt. Marine ecosystems are experiencing unprecedented heat stress, and the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events is changing. Yet, we still don't know enough about exactly when, where, and how ocean warming occurs. This is because of three factors. First, temperature changes at the ocean surface and in the atmosphere just above track each other other closely. This makes it difficult to know exactly where excess heat is entering the ocean. Second, we don't have measurements tracking temperatures all over the ocean. In particular, we have very sparse observations in deep ocean, in remote locations around Antarctica, and under sea ice. Last, the observations we do have don't go back very far in time. Reliable data from deeper than 700 meters depth is virtually non-existent prior to the 1990s, apart from observations along specific research cruise tracks. Our modeling approach. To work out the intricacies of how ocean warming has played out, we first ran an ocean model with atmospheric conditions perpetually stuck in the 1960s prior to any significant human-caused climate change. Then, we separately allowed each ocean basin to move forward in time and experience climate change, while all other basins were held back to experience the climate of the 60s. We also separated out the effects of atmospheric warming from surface wind-driven changes to see how much each factor contributes to the observed ocean warming. By taking this model approach, we could isolate that the Southern Ocean is the most important absorber of this heat, despite only covering about 15% of the ocean's total surface area. In fact, the Southern Ocean alone could account for virtually all ocean heat uptake, with the Pacific and Atlantic basins losing any heat gained back into the atmosphere. One significant ecological impact of the strong Southern Ocean warming is the Antarctica krill. When ocean warming occurs beyond temperatures they can tolerate, the krill's habitat contracts, and they move even further south to cooler waters. As krill is a key component of the food web, this will also change the distribution and population of larger predators, such as commercially viable tooth and icefish. This will also increase the stress for penguins and whales that are already under threat today. So why is the Southern Ocean absorbing so much heat? This largely comes down to the geographic setup of the region, with strong westerly winds surrounding Antarctica exerting their influence over an ocean that is uninterrupted by land masses. This means the Southern Ocean wind blows over a vast distance, continuously bringing massive cold water to the surface. If cold water is pushed northward, readily absorbing vast quantities of heat from warmer atmosphere before the excess heat is dumped into the ocean's interior, about 45 to 55 degrees, the latitude band just south of Tasmania, New Zealand, and the southern regions of South America, this uptake is facilitated by both the warmer atmosphere caused by our greenhouse gas emissions as well as wind-driven circulation, which is important for getting heat into the ocean interior. And when we combine the warming and wind effects only over the Southern Ocean, with remaining oceans held back to the climate of the 1960s, we can explain almost all the global ocean heat uptake. But that's not to say the other ocean basins aren't warming. They are, it's just that the heat they gain locally from the atmosphere cannot account for this warming. Instead, this massive heat uptake in the Southern Ocean is what has driven change in total ocean heat content worldwide over the past half century. We have much to learn. While this discovery sheds new light on the Southern Ocean as a key driver of global ocean warming, we still have a lot to learn, particularly about the ocean warming beyond 50 years we highlight in our study. All future projections, including even the most optimistic scenarios, predict an even warmer ocean in the future. And if the Southern Ocean continues to account for the vast majority of the ocean heat uptake until 2100, we might see its heat content increase by as much as 7 times more than what we have already seen up to today. This will have enormous impacts around the globe, including further disturbances to the Southern Ocean food web, rapid melting of Antarctic ice shelves, changes in the ocean conveyor belt. To capture all these changes, it's vital we continue to expand our observations taken in the Southern Ocean. One of the most important new data streams will be new ocean floats that can measure deeper ocean temperatures, as well as small temperature sensors on elephant seals, which gives us an essential data of oceanic conditions in winter under the Antarctic ice. Even more important is the recognition of that less carbon dioxide we emit, the less ocean change we will lock in. This will ultimately limit the disruption of livelihoods for the billions of people living near the coast worldwide. Yeah, this is wild. The fact that, like, in terms of, like, scale, the time scale for this to reverse itself will be millennia. We will be all long gone. And a lot of these things are effectively, for all intents and purposes, locked in, which is truly indicates how dire the situation is here and how important it is to address it now, yesterday, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Unfreaking real. Alright, so to the surprise of nobody, the Republicans are trying to bring a legal challenge to block Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. The audacity that the working class will get crumbs is just not okay with the Republican Party. The audacity that students who work very hard finally get a little bit of crumbs, a little bit of help. That can't stand with the Republican Party. Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich suggested that student loan borrowers shouldn't bank on forgiveness yet. Haha, get effed, boars. I think by cleaning the plastics from the ocean, developing agriculture farms, creating desalination and decarbonization facilities on the coast, the local ocean warming can be somewhat mitigated, but we would need to throw some political weight behind those projects. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the ramifications of those projects would be. However, regardless, I think that those would be interesting and probably necessary, I would say. I think China. I think by trying to block I think by trying to block that, they're daring Dark Brandon to expand to expand the court. Yes. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. No, I don't think Dark Brandon is not going to expand the court. Despite President Joe Biden's announcement that last month he'd cancel up to 20,000 for many, yeah, this is for Pell Grants, 10,000 for non-Pell Grants. I think there's a lot of people celebrating prematurely. Haha, get effed, boars! You thought you were gonna get some freaking crumbs? No. A lot of people are upset about this, not because of legal arguments, but they believe it's fundamentally unfair. Who are these people? The only people that are upset is conservatives. That's it. That's it. You just shouldn't be trusted. That's true. A state's Republican attorney general said he and others were looking to bring legal challenges to the president's plan. If we can bring a challenge, we will bring a challenge. Ha. Listen, if you're gonna make freaking claims, explain to me what is bullshit about the article that I am reading. Okay? Rumble isn't a news network, sorry. Explain to me what part of this, what part of these quotes and what part of this story is bullshit. Explain to me what part of this story and what part of these quotes are bullshit. Go on. It starts from the person whose idea wrote it, and that's the problem. It's fake news. That's not an answer to my question. What? Maybe, I don't know. Hey, hello? Can you hear me? Let me try that again. Let me try that again. What part of this story, of these quotes that I'm reading from people, what part of that is bullshit? A nacer? What is a nacer? These aren't answers to my question. What part of this story and of these quotes that I'm literally reading from people is bullshit? Yeah, grab your popcorn. Here we go. Let's see if you can give us an answer. Come on. Come on. I told you the person who wrote it is BS. They work for CNBC, so therefore the whole thing I said starts from where it comes from. Okay, that's not an answer to my question. Like, are you understanding my question? Is this chat? Am I asking like a convoluted question here? The whole thing is BS. Why? What part of this story and of these quotes that I'm literally just reading of people is bullshit? I told you the guy. I'm not asking about the guy, okay? I'm not asking about the guy who, by the way, is a woman. Annie Nova is a reporter who wrote this article. Not a guy. Just so you know. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. What part of the story that I am reading And what part of the quotes that I just read are bullshit? Because that's your claim. If you can't back up these claims with arguments, then why the fuck are you saying things? Okay? So you're just saying things to say things. Why should anybody listen to you? Why should anybody listen to you if you're just saying things? You're just saying it's irrelevant. Why is it irrelevant? Because it's on CNBC. Why is it irrelevant? Yeah, they don't want to put in the work, so they just say it's the source is bad. Yeah, exactly, Nug Wrangler. But you got to explain to me why the source is bad, right? Because then I'll believe you. Then we got an argument. Why should I listen to some stupid chick who works at CNBC? Wow, dude. Flawless logic. Flawless logic. Wow. You know what? I hope one day I can develop a level of logic like yours. I seriously hope that one day I'll be able to do that. That was your logic? Not really. The only reason I would challenge a source is because I would actually look into it and see if this story doesn't make sense, okay? Alright, that's enough. That's enough. Absolute fucking clown. Can't even answer a simple fucking question. Unbelievable. Can't even answer a simple question. Okay, so folks, for the audience, yes, sometimes if you are presenting information that is not correct and you want to scrutinize the source, you are free to do so. But you must actually present something, not I don't like this because it's on this network, okay? But why? If you can't answer simple questions, then that's a you problem. Yeah, that's right. It doesn't match what my feelings are telling me. Right. That's what this freaking clown is operating on. That's the level of intellectualism that we're operating on in this moment. Amazing. Right. It's not my view, so therefore it equals fake news. Like, unbelievable, like, that people really do actually operate on this level. How intellectually tiny do you have to be? How small? How small do you have to be that this is the only thing that you're capable of? This is the best that you're capable of doing. No critical thinking, no arguments, just insults and leaps in logic. I don't like this because I don't. Okay? Why? Because it comes from CNBC. Okay, that's cool. Okay, fair point. Now, where exactly in this report here is the incorrect information? Well, it's from CNBC. Damn, dude, you've really freaking got me. Damn, amazing. Wow, riveting. I just called an IRS to visit them at their home standby. Anyways. GOP attorney generals from states like Missouri and Texas, as well as Senator Ted Cruz, and those connected to conservative think tanks, the Heritage Foundation, have also been reported to be mulling over their options on attempting to block Biden's plan. That is all sure to make anxious of the tens of millions of Americans who were just weeks ago celebrating their debt forgiveness. Like, yeah, you know, we got freaking some crumbs for the poors, and like the Republican Party is just like, nope, can't have that. Sorry. F you, boars. A drawn-out legal challenge would threaten to throw the fate of an estimated 43 million people's debts into limbo for the foreseeable future, and this issue could make its way to the Supreme Court, which, excellent memes. We all know how that will turn out. So yeah, just to remind you, just as a reminder, this is what happens when Republicans win elections. I'm just saying, this is what happens when Republicans win elections. Conservatism, folks, not even once. The only icing on the cake missing here is that Joe Manchin wants to join. The only icing on the cake would be if Joe Manchin actually supports the GOP effort to overturn this. Because Manchin is also pretty salty about the boars getting some crumbs. Anyways. But ADT, you're an elitist. Didn't you know that? True. I love how this this person's last freaking message was trying to make fun of my hairline, which if anybody has actually been in this community for any period of time would know exactly how I look, which is an excellent meme. People have to pay for their mistakes. What mistakes? And not the public sounds fair to me. What are you talking about? What mistakes? You mean like college? That's a mistake? So which is it? Don't go to college and then blame them for only getting minimum wage jobs, but then go to college, get loans because, well, there's no other options. And the only option some people have are to take predatory loans. And now they're trying to do the right thing, so they did. They got an education, and now they're trying to do the right thing, so they also get punished, taking a loan they can't pay off, because they're predatory by definition. They're predatory by definition. And furthermore, education benefits all of us, okay? The public benefits from education, regardless. And to add to that, this should have never been a problem to begin with. They don't have to take the loan, then what the fuck are they supposed to do if they have no other choice? Not go to school? Honestly, these people are so fucking salty over people trying to be more educated and then get really big mad because they were offered some crumbs. Can you imagine? Listen, here's a quick question. Do you agree or disagree? It doesn't matter if you take a bad loan, you should pay for it, not the public. Shut up for a second. Do you agree with payment protection loans, the PPP loans? Do you agree with them being forgiven? Or did you forget about that? I said shut the fuck up for a second. Do you believe that the PPP loans should be forgiven? Why are simple questions just so hard to freaking answer? Holy yikes. Chat, can somebody explain to me why questions are so hard to answer? They're just not sending their best today, folks. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rename myself a difficult question. Holy yikes. Oh man, really? A simple question, can't answer it. That's wild. Let me try this one more time. Maybe they'll get it this time, okay? I'll even put on some game music. Do you believe that the PPP loans should have been forgiven? All right, we're just gonna fly on by this one because the only update is that this case is proceeding and she's pleading guilty. So just to remind, yeah, I know crickets. It's really it's difficult. The ones that were used properly, yeah. I'm trying to create a argument of hypocrisy. That's what I'm trying to do. And they know they can't really answer that question because then I'm just going to say, well, just ignore it, just like you did with the PPP loans and shut the fuck up. That's what I'm going to say. So, yeah, that's why they won't answer that. Colorado clerk Tina Peters pleads not guilty in election tampering case. Oh, you were getting a snack. Well, welcome back, my friend. Welcome. I'm so glad that you actually got a snack and sat down. Damn. Let's try this again. For the last time. Let's see if you can answer a question. Do you agree with PPP loans being forgiven? Oh, you're boring me. What a boring troll. Just like just like the last one. Couldn't answer a freaking question. Josteen, how's it going? Just like the last troll, couldn't even answer a fucking question. Boring. Tina Peters pleads not guilty in election tampering case. Colorado clerk Tina Peters pleaded not guilty Wednesday to charges of election tampering and official misconduct in connection with a security breach of Mesa County voting system last year. Peters faces 10 felony and misdemeanor charges following a grand jury's indictment related to the breach. She is accused of allowing unauthorized people to break into her county's election system in search of evidence supporting baseless election fraud theories espoused by the former president. I thought you meant me for a second. No. No, I don't think you came here to troll, my friend. I don't think you came here to troll. The felony charges include... You're good. The felony charges include attempting to influence a public servant, criminal impersonation, conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation, identity theft. Wow, nice. Peters also faces misdemeanor charges for official misconduct, violation of duty, and failure to comply with requirements of the Colorado Secretary of State. Well, we'll see how this trial goes. But it looks like she has decided to plead not guilty, so it's gonna go forward. I don't know if we have time to go through this one. Did you see that Trump judge thing? Wait, which one? The one that allowed the master whatever the heck is called for that not supreme master. What is it? Special master to review the documents that was actually a Trump appointee judge. Yeah. That's a good meme. So yeah, the special master. There we go. The one with the document review. Yeah. Supposedly, like, there's some funny stuff going on over there, but we'll see. So apparently, Chuck Schumer has put himself in a tough spot as he tried to negotiate with Manchin to pass this Inflation Reduction Act. Apparently, there was going to be some type of permitting reform, and now things are in a bit of a pickle here. Honestly, I would just say, like, just a TLDR, I would just say F Joe Manchin. Fuck it. We got his vote. Screw him. But that's just me. I was going to go over that, but I think that that's not as important.
Industry is pushing to make it easier for them to pollute the environment and destroy our planet. But before I do, let me put my opposition to this disastrous side deal into a broader context. Mr. President, as the father of 4 kids and the grandfather of 7, I very much wish that I did not have to say what I am going to say. But the most serious challenge facing our country and the entire world, far and away, is in fact the existential threat of climate change. That is not the opinion of Bernie Sanders, who failed physics in college. That is what the scientific community is telling us in a virtually unanimous voice. The latest report from the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, is very clear, and it is very foreboding. If the United States, China, Russia, and the rest of the world do not act extremely aggressively in cutting carbon emissions, our planet will face enormous and irreversible damage.
Side note, is experiencing irreversible, enormous and irreversible damage. Is currently experiencing, as the article we just read has pointed out. Yeah. Yeah, we went over this one. This is wild. Echo Resto Dragon. That is wild. The fact that, like, this guy had...
In fact, the world that we will be living...
documents related to, like, the military capabilities of a foreign nation up to and including nuclear capabilities. Yeah, nice.
Leaving to our kids and to future generations will become increasingly unhealthy and uninhabitable. That's not Bernie Sanders.
True.
That is the virtual unanimous conclusion of the scientists who study this issue.
True.
But the truth is, we don't need the scientists or another study to tell us what's happening. We see it with our own eyes here in the United States and all over the world. The American people today and people throughout the globe are seeing the devastating impact climate change is having on their communities and their families with their own eyes. That is what they are seeing right now as I speak. And please understand, and maybe the most important point I want to make this morning
it is terrifying.
That everything being equal, what is happening right now will become worse and worse and worse. This is not, oh boy, we had a torrential rain. Oh boy, ain't it hot? Everything being equal, what we are seeing today will become worse in years to come.
Yep.
Let's just take a brief look at what's happening right now in the United States and around the world. The past 8 years have been the hottest years in recorded history. Right now, the western half of the United States
Is on freaking
experiencing
fire.
its worst drought in over 1,200 years. Right now, in California, Nevada, and Utah, they are experiencing record-breaking heat waves. Historic rainfall and devastating floods took place over a 5-week.
Hey, asshole. You still haven't even, you're not even capable of answering a single question. So, if you can't even answer a simple question, I suggest you may just want to listen.
Stretch this summer in eastern Kentucky, eastern Illinois, St. Louis, Missouri, Death Valley, California, and Dallas, Texas. These are supposed to be a once-in-a-thousand-year torrential rainfalls, and we're seeing them coming all together within a few weeks. Right now, Europe is experiencing its worst drought in over 500 years.
Yep.
And let's remember, when
Yep.
we talk about drought, it's not only, boy, is it hot, it impacts agricultural production and the quantity and quality of food that we
Yeah.
eat.
And it turns out, I know this might be shocking to people. It turns out that we actually need food. I know. It's a shocker, but we actually need food. And we actually need the land to be able to grow that food. Yeah, I know. It's a shocker.
Mr. President, a massive heat wave in Spain and Portugal killed more than 2,000 people in July. Historically hot weather in London and China.
Jeez, it's smoky when I took out my dog earlier. There's a fire like 13 miles from here. Jeez. Eyes open, Echo. Stay safe.
Literally melted bridges, airplane runways, and rooftops. Let me repeat that. The extremely hot weather in London and in China this summer literally melted bridges, rooftops, and airplane runways, with all of the consequences that that has. Mr. President, record-breaking forest fires in Europe have already burned 1.6 million acres of land, 56% more than the previous record set in 2017, and that is a size that is over 8 times bigger than New York City. Record-breaking drought in China has caused parts of the Yangtze River to completely dry up.
Yep.
The Yangtze River is the 3rd largest river in the world. It is the source of drinking water for 400 million people. Catastrophic rainfall and massive floods have been going on for weeks in Pakistan, killing
Yep.
at least 1,200 people and displacing another 10 million, as
Yep.
1/3 of Pakistan is now underwater. And if all of this is not sobering enough, it's not frightening enough, a glacier in Antarctica that
Yep.
scientists have dubbed the Doomsday Glacier has been in rapid retreat and is melting much faster
Than we
previous
anticipated.
predictions.
Yep. Went over that one
Without
too.
this glacier and its supporting ice shelves, sea levels could rise by 3 to 10 feet, which would cause entire coastal communities to flood and go underwater forever. We are talking about major cities here in the United States and across the world that could be underwater in the coming decades.
Trust me, we know that you have no capability of understanding the concept of responsibility. So it's okay. If you don't understand what's going on here, that's a you problem. He's explaining what's going on right now in the world, not just here in the United States, but across the world. Because it turns out that there's other countries, other than the United States, and all of these interconnect. And yeah, if you don't understand that, that's a you problem.
Just think for a moment about the massive dislocation, turmoil, and international tensions that will occur when millions of people migrate from where they have lived into new areas. And the tragedies and disturbances and destruction goes on and on and on. Mr. President, in the past, a series of climate disasters like these might have seemed like a silly plot in a bad movie about the apocalypse. Unfortunately, however, what we are living through now is not a movie, it is reality. This is what we are experiencing right now in front of us. And again,
I
this
agree, Nut
entire
Wrangler.
scenario, what we are seeing now, will almost definitely become worse in years to come if the United States, China, and the rest of the world do not get our act together and break our dependency on fossil fuels.
True.
And one of the
Yeah, like the attitude exhibited by this chatter here is exactly the problem. It's not a problem until it's my problem. I have no idea what's going on. I refuse to look.
strange ironies about this moment is that if the United States did all of the right things tomorrow, it would not be enough. We need the cooperation of China and of countries throughout the world. We as a planet are in this together, and we're going to have to act decisively. And in my view, the largest economy in the world, which is the United States of America, must lead this effort. If we retreat, it sends a terrible message to countries all over the world. And if we retreat, clearly what we will be seeing are more floods, more rising sea levels, more extreme weather disturbances, more ocean acidification, more drought, more famine, more disease, and more human suffering. And today,
All right, this is conspiratorial nonsense. You got 5 seconds to show me, to disprove like the concept of climate change, which what we mean by climate change is obviously, anthropogenic climate change, and B, all these things that would normally happen in a long period of time are happening in shorter and shorter and more extreme versions of it. So if you have no evidence other than what you're saying, kindly just stop. I don't like, what do you mean playing with HARP? What does that even mean? China said they don't care, they want cheap energy, and you're at war with Russia. India doesn't care either. What now? Who cares? We must lead. Did you not hear? We're the ones, if we're going to be the biggest economy in the world, then we should be the ones to lead. Why do we care what other countries are doing? All right, so no evidence? Cool. All right, that's enough. That's enough. If you're just going to come here and make claims without any single like evidence, you're gone. So the logic is because the logic is because other people don't care, then that means I don't care. How childish, how small is, like, intellectually small do you have to be to come to that logic? What are you, 5? Other people aren't doing the right thing, so I'm not gonna.
to all of my colleagues here in the Senate who have kids and grandchildren, I think that's almost everybody, I just ask you to think ahead 10, 15, 20 years. Think about the discussion you'll be having with your kids or your grandchildren when that young person looks you in the eye and says, Dad, Grandma, what did you do to save the planet? And I want you to think about that. We all know that climate change is real. We know that climate change is caused by carbon emissions. No one disagrees with that. We know that climate change is already causing devastating destruction throughout the world. We know that if we don't rapidly transform our energy system away from fossil fuels toward energy efficiency and renewable energy, the situation will only become much worse.
True.
And our planet will face irreparable and irreversible harm. That's the simple reality. And yet,
like, imagine reading, because what he's citing, he isn't just getting this out of his head. Just to be clear, he mentioned it at the beginning that the thing that he's citing is the IPCC, which is a culmination of like the planet's climate scientists all coming together, all gathering like decades and decades of data, have worked on this their entire careers, have worked on this their entire lives. But yeah, this one freaking clown on the internet, yeah, definitely we should listen to that guy.
all that we know, given all that the scientists are telling us, what is the United States Congress about to do? Well, Mr. President, the United States Congress is seriously considering legislation to provide a huge giveaway to the fossil fuel industry to drill, produce, and sell more oil and gas. Really. At a time when climate change is threatening the very existence of our planet, why would anybody be talking about substantially increasing carbon emissions and expanding fossil fuel production in the United States? What kind of message does this send to the people of our own country, to the young people, and to suffering people all over the world, that in the midst of this horrific crisis caused by fossil fuel emissions, we're about to pass legislation to increase fossil fuel production? Mr. President, like every other member of the Senate, I have a pretty good understanding of how politics works in our corrupt political system. Like every other senator, I understand what campaign contributions are about. I understand what the thousands of lobbyists all over Capitol Hill do, and I surely understand the extraordinary power of the fossil fuel industry to push the legislation that they want. In fact, they were successful for decades in lying to the American people about the reality of climate change. So I know about the power of the fossil fuel industry. But today I beg of my colleagues that at this moment, when the future of the world is literally at stake, that at this moment we have the courage to stand up to the fossil fuel industry and to tell them and the politicians that they sponsor that the future of the planet is more important than their short-term profits. Mr. President, in the coming weeks and months, the Senate has a fundamental choice to make. We can listen to the fossil fuel industry and the politicians they pay, who are spending huge amounts of money on lobbying and campaign contributions to pass this dirty side deal. Or we can listen to the scientists and the environmental community, who are telling us loudly and clearly to reject this side deal and eliminate the $15 billion in tax breaks and subsidies Congress is already providing to big oil and gas companies each and every year. Mr. President, while the legislative text of this side deal has not been made public, according to a one-page summary that was released last month, this bill would make it easier for the fossil fuel industry to receive permits to complete some of the dirtiest and most polluting oil and gas projects.
I agree with that, Messer.
Specifically, this deal would approve the $6.6 billion Mountain Valley Pipeline, a 303-mile frac gas pipeline spanning from West Virginia to Virginia and potentially on to North Carolina. We're talking about a pipeline that would generate emissions equivalent to 37 coal plants or over 27 million cars each and every year. Mr. President, it is hard for me to understand why anyone who is concerned about climate change would consider for 1 second voting to approve a pipeline that would be equivalent to putting 27 million more cars on the road each and every year, especially at a time we're trying to transition into electric vehicles. Mr. President, on August 24th, over 650 environmental and civil rights organizations wrote a letter to Majority Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi urging them to reject this side deal. This letter was signed by the Sierra Club, the Sunrise Movement, Friends of the Earth, Physicians for Social Responsibility, 350.org, Greenpeace, Public Citizens, People's Action, and the NAACP. And here is a summary of what the letter says. Quote, this is a letter signed by 650 environmental and civil rights groups. Quote, on behalf of 653 frontline communities and environmental organizations representing millions of members and supporters nationwide, we are writing to express our strenuous opposition to any additional fossil fuel giveaways. Alarming proposals have been referenced by Senator Manchin in a short memo and in legislative language that was clearly drafted in consultation with the American Petroleum Institute. It has reported that Manchin has demanded these handouts to the fossil fuel industry as a further price for his vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which already included large giveaways to polluters.
Imagine, like, to the clown in chat, imagine complaining about student debt relief and not complaining about, like, giveaways to large corporations and tax breaks to large corporations.
We call on you to unequivocally reject any effort to promote fossil fuels, advance unproven technologies, and weaken our core environmental laws. This fossil fuel wish list is a cruel and direct attack on environmental justice communities and the climate. This legislation would truncate and hollow out the environmental review process, weaken tribal consultations, and make it far harder for frontline communities to have their voices heard by gutting bedrock protections in the National Environmental Policy Act and Clean Water Act. Supporting this legislation will represent a profound betrayal of frontline communities and constituents across the country who have called on you to advance a just, renewable energy future. End of quote. That is from 650 environmental organizations. Mr. President, I could not agree more, and I would ask unanimous consent to include this entire letter in the congressional record.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I should also add that at least 59 of our colleagues in the House of Representatives will soon be releasing a letter expressing strong opposition to this side deal. Now, let me briefly quote from that letter. Quote, according to media reports, there is agreement to advance a series of anti-environmental and anti-environmental justice provisions through the House at the behest of the American Petroleum Institute. These destructive provisions will allow polluting manufacturing and energy development projects to be rushed through before the families who are forced to live near them are even aware of the plans. We remain deeply concerned that these serious and detrimental permitting provisions will significantly and disproportionately impact low-income communities, indigenous communities, and communities of color.
Yep.
The inclusion of these provisions in a continuing resolution or any other must-pass legislation would silence the voices of frontline and environmental justice communities by insulating them from scrutiny. Such a move would force members to choose between protecting...
Oh, there was some clown here earlier. Dude lasted about maybe like 5 seconds because he couldn't answer a single question, and then started going off on and just insults, and then since that wasn't working, he finally did he finally broke TOS, and I yeeted him. Yeah.
Environmental justice communities from further pollution or funding the government. We urge you to ensure that these provisions are kept out of a continuing resolution or any other must-pass legislation this year. End of quote. That is a letter that comes from over 50 of our colleagues in the House of Representatives. Mr. President, I would ask unanimous consent to insert that letter into the congressional record.
Without objection.
So there we are, Mr. President. You got 650 environmental and social justice organizations representing millions of people. You got the entire scientific community.
I don't like Trump. He's too lefty. Yeah, that's very true.
And then on the other side,
Trump is truly the embodiment of leftism, because when I think of like leftism, I think Donald Trump. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Fuel industry and all of their campaign contributions. So that's what it is. So today I ask my colleagues to stand up for our kids.
This speech is fucking phenomenal. This speech is one of the best Bernie speeches I've heard. I'm not even gonna lie. But this is one of the best Bernie speeches I've listened to. Because usually like his spiel is mostly like anti big corporations, anti essentially anti-establishment, I guess, sentiments. He doesn't like tax breaks for the rich. He keeps fighting for the working class. But like this one hits a little bit different, I think. And the fact that he brought out like sources from like the IPCC, he cited studies, like this is a well put together speech.
Children and for future generations.
Oh yeah, he's been super consistent.
To finally tell the fossil fuel industry that the future of this planet is more important than their short-term profits. Mr. President, I thank you and I yield the floor.
This one was phenomenal. This was a great speech. I need to find a way to save this. Yeah, I'm gonna save this to watch later. I need to figure out a way to download this. Yeah, the future of this planet is absolutely more important than the fossil fuel industry, hands down. 100%. Easy. That's an easy choice. Alright, folks, we did it. Take it easy. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate that. Unlike you, I already responded to your childish line of thinking. If no one's going to act right, then I don't have to be the good guy. What a childish way of thinking. Why should I help? No one's helping, so why should I? Absolutely childish. Childish line of thinking. Alright, folks. It is way past my time. If you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. We are here Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Hold on, folks. Give me 1 second. I like that. It is a childish way of thinking. Be kind to yourself because MAGA won't do it. That's true. Good stream. Unfortunately, you were never able to even answer a simple question. That's pretty sad. That's unfortunate. Never got an answer. The only childish thing is idealism. I don't even know what that means. I didn't even make a mention of idealism. It's okay, buddy. You'll get there. It's okay. One day you'll grow up. Alright, folks. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget, yeah, you're here to learn? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. Join us on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. If you want to keep up with the channel, head on over to the Discord. Spread the word far and wide. This is the chillest place to be for the news and politics, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us on Sundays around noon Eastern Time for Sunday Fun Day. As always, please stay safe. Oh, wait, actually, before I go, there is a couple of shout outs that I need to do, okay? Before I go. First, shout out to twitch.tv/LostZoo. I'm sorry, hold on. I got this. Don't worry. There we go. Shout out to Swoop for the wonderful raid. I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing your community over. Appreciate that. Twitch.tv/SwoopLingGTR. And Twitch.tv/AlioShare. If you see any one of these wonderful folks, please go give them a follow. Please go show support. If you want to learn, like, truly about indigenous issues, go follow twitch.tv/LostZoo. I'm sure you'll learn a thing or two. All right? As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Ooh. Okay, there we go. Please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! Thank you for the follow. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Appreciate that. All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks for the follow, Meter. Appreciate it. See ya.